Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
And welcome back to another episode of Great Morning. I'm your host, Christian Murmur, Murms, Murmdog, whatever the fuck you want to call me. And to the bottom of my computer screen, we have our in-studio comedian, Topazkin Chubsway Chuck. How you doing today,
Yo, what's good, fam?
What's going on?
Been real good. It's a good week. Chilling, getting ready for my little trip. I'm going to Virginia.
Yeah, you were talking about that this morning. So I wanted you to explain, real quick, because we've got a guest with us today. But I wanted you to explain exactly what I was still getting a little confused about what you're doing out there for the Navy, of course.
Yeah, man. So they doing like every school, you gotta learn your job. You got people that write the courses and the curriculum, and I'm like one of those people. So we want to go meet up and go over curriculum. I wanted to stay at a Hyatt, man. They got me living on base.
So what do you do though? Do you like approve of courses? Because won't there be some courses that you don't even really know about because they're not part of your rate/job?
Yeah. So I only go over the stuff that I know about.
And then what? You just like approve it or disapprove it, and then you're done?
Yeah, and then make suggestions on other stuff that they doing, and tell them that some of the stuff ain't gonna work, whatever that is.
I mean, listen, I'm always down for, the company, the boss, the government, whoever it is to, pay for your trip somewhere, of course. I'm not going to deny that opportunity for you. But at the same time, I can't help but think, like, couldn't they just send that shit to you in an email and you could email them back? You really got to go all the way to Virginia for that?
Nah, we got to do some hands-on computer type shit. It's like, yeah, it's gotta be hands on.
That sounds a little. All right.
The good news is there's a casino like 30 minutes away. So
oh yeah, that's the great. Yeah, so you're like, hell yeah, let's go
play some poker. There's a food festival going on this weekend too. So yeah, I'll be down there for that.
You'll be close by everybody's friend Ashley.
Word?
Yeah, she's by the Norfolk area.
Oh shit! I might hit her up on IG.
Yep, hit her up. She'll be around.
But I gotta keep her fingers away because if she putting her fingers in your booty hole, I don't want no problem.
No, you don't want those fingers there. That's a very big no. Big no.
Yeah.
But anyway, Chuck, it is great to hear from you as always. I did want to talk about something real quick. This morning, Stephanie let us know that Stephanie may or may not be here, guys, to just let the listeners know. But she did let us know this morning. She said, "Great morning, gang. I'm driving to PA, so I may be a little late." Chuck said, "The fuck's in PA?" ? And then she said, "Penn, PA, Pennsylvania." And then you said, "Yeah, what's in it?" And she said, "Not sure." So we don't. That was a great answer by her, by the way. But at the same time, I'm like, what is she going to PA for?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck you going for? That's some type shit that I'm like left in suspense. I'm like, yo.
I know. I wanted to come on.
Call and your friend was like, "Just get here right now," and you're like, "What's going on? Just get here." And they hung up, and you're like, "Fuck it." You grab your person, you just go.
Yeah, so hopefully, if Stephanie doesn't make it to this episode, hopefully in the next episode we can talk to her about that. But if she does make it to this episode, we are definitely going to ask what the fuck she was talking about. I think what she means, I think she's joking around. I think, though, that she's got a family that she visits often there in PA. So we'll see from her soon. But anyway, yes, maybe we'll hear from Stephanie. But Chuck, it's always great to hear from you as always. But Chuck, I got to ask you, do you think it is time?
Yeah, it's my fucking time.
Yeah, I also think it's time that we introduce someone else that we have here in the podcast. And this is a first-time guest, though, guys. All right. So please, welcome this wonderful gentleman here with us today. But let me go ahead and introduce him better than that. We've got with us a manager, an actor, a motivational speaker, an influencer, our dear friend, Elton Garner. How are you today?
I'm good this morning. Thanks for having me.
Of course. And I know it's a very, very early morning by you. We were just discussing that before we started recording because you are in, where are you exactly? What is the island called?
Say that one more time.
I want you to let the listeners know exactly where you are right now, just so they can get an idea of the time frame.
Well, aloha. Welcoming you from the island of Hawaii, where I stay on the island of Oahu.
Oh,
The main island, where the capital of Hawaii is. It's Honolulu.
It is
You out here living a good life, man. You having good time.
Oh, we out here, bro. We out here.
We're definitely doing a backyard episode today because two of the people on here, of course, outside. I'm in studio, of course, but I saw them outside in the fresh air, so I was thinking like, shit, I should go outside too. But anyway, the reason I talked about the time frame is because by you right now it's around like 7:00 in the morning, so I know it's very early. You said it's not terribly early for you. You get up around this time anyway, but that's definitely an early time to be recording a podcast. But you, as you explained to me before, you are used to in the past getting up super early, having a camera in your face, and getting asked a bunch of questions.
Yeah. Started off, that kind of military type thing where you're very structured. You're always up at a certain time. Those are certain things I wanted to implement in my life afterwards. I didn't want to just lay in the bed and not get anything accomplished. So, you try to establish a routine in the morning time. So that's what I try to do. Just keep a routine going on. And it just helps, day to day, my day go right. Because if I miss it, I don't know what may happen.
When I grow up.
Yeah. I woke up at 5 this morning. And I was upset. Couldn't even go back to sleep.
Oh yeah, I hate that, waking up early and you're just like, shit, I can't even fall back to fucking sleep. But Elton, I wanted to mention because I mentioned you're a lot of things here. But one of those was, of course, actor, manager. So when did you officially get started doing that? Like, at what point in your life did you start doing all that media stuff there? Because I know we've mentioned well, maybe we didn't mention on this episode, but we did mention that you are a veteran, of course. So was it around that same time when you first joined the Navy? Was it before? Was it after? Would you mind explaining that to the listeners?
So at a very early age, when I was in elementary school, they filmed a movie at my elementary school. Sometimes They Come Back by Stephen King.
Oh,
so I was in 3 or 4 of the scenes.
Oh, wow.
And so just the cameras and the lights and the you see the actor go through and he's the way he and what he did to use to put his mind in the mind frame of a teacher. So he had them ring the bell every single time, like when all the kids are in the class. Like it was just something to it that I always wanted to explore. So when I was a teenager, I used to sing in a musical group. Okay. We were called Just Us.
Just Us.
And yeah, we did a little bit. We did a couple tours with, I hate to say this, R. Kelly, Gerald Levert.
Hey man, don't hate to say that. R. Kelly's the man.
That's before you knew anything was going on.
I just want to let everybody know he never touched us.
Okay,
he did.
There was no pee-pee involved.
Yeah, none at all. Okay. So
they consented free R. Kelly.
Yeah,
exactly. Free R. Kelly, bang bang. Well, don't say that too loud, bro.
Yeah, but
free my dog.
So we had an opportunity to be in a movie with Martin Sheen and Isaac Hayes.
Oh, wow.
Where we actually got roles. It was a movie called 9th Street. That was my first real movie role that I played. Obviously, due to the social and racial constructs of the United States of America, I played an Oklahoma shooter.
Yes, I saw. I was looking at before. Actually, weeks ago when we were originally planning to have you on, I was looking at your IMDb page and I saw that that was one of your first credits, and it said, Ninth Street, 1999. Directors were, Tim Radman, I believe, and Kevin Wilmot, who actually wrote it as well.
Yep.
And I looked at your acting role in it, and it said Oklahoma City Shooter. I was like, all right, all right.
That's the road we fell into, you know what I mean? And so so it's just something I've tried to stay active in. I mean, I've done some commercials, was in some video shoots, but I think a lot of my success and while I was in the Navy. So while in the Navy, obviously you can't get off a lot to go do a lot of shooting and stuff like that. Being that I sang, I was always interested in music too. So I started working for a company called Right Way Management. It was owned by a partner of mine that I kind of, knew when I was younger, pulled me in to start running his management company because they were going to concentrate on film and TV. So that's how I got into management at the time. So it didn't really take a lot for me to be able to manage because we have internet.
Yes.
I can make contacts. I can do a lot. I mean, have video conferences, send out people's contracts, performance contracts, receive the money, get the airplane tickets, all of that other stuff that managers do, right?
Yes, of course.
So that didn't really take a lot. So we started to take off that way, in which I was managing Darius McQuarrie, and that's what we was talking about, Chuck, from Star. Remember, I was doing all his promotion. He was on Star.
That's how I started watching it.
Yeah, bro. And then he was on Star, and then I started managing. I managed like X-Ray. A guy by the name of X-Rated. I don't know if anybody remembers Brother Lynch Hung way back in the day. So X-Rated was literally the first time someone was prosecuted for rap lyrics. So they took his rap lyrics out of his song, and then they sent him to prison.
Oh my God! Yeah,
long time.
They were just talking about that again. I think in the news that they're really trying to decide now. Yeah, are it rap lyrics usable in court because it's
the crazy part about it is he didn't even write the song.
Yeah,
he just performed and recorded the song.
It's like, you can get in trouble. It's weird because you got to look at it as a point of maybe fiction, maybe based on real life things, but it's a form of art, which any writing is. And like, if you're going to do that, it's like, you got to go one way or the other. Either rap lyrics are not usable in court at all. You can't use them because it's a fucking song, or you use everything that anyone's wrote, because I can pick out a million books that I've read. I read a Stephen King book about where children that are like at the age of 12 and 13 have sex with each other. There's a sex scene in that book with children. It's called It, if you've never read it.
Yes.
Wait, really?
Stephen King.
That's not in the movie, though.
No, it's not in the movie.
They're not going to show that in the movie. It is in the book.
It is in the book.
So, I mean, if you're going to prosecute anyone, you might as well be like, all right, if we're going to prosecute him, we're going to prosecute Stephen King for being a pedophile. It's like, you might as well prosecute everyone who ever wrote anything bad.
Oh, so. Yeah. I mean, just going all the way back to the beginning of American history. So, that's
yeah.
So, I mean, I've lost my chain of thought. What?
No, that's fine. It's okay. Bro? I got many pinpoints for you. You were talking about managing.
That's what happened when you're old, bro. That's what happened when you're old, man.
And it is very early in the morning.
Had to stop the camera and be like,
we're going to take a fucking pause. No, Chuck, I want to bring up something, though, that Chuck told me. Chuck, you said something about Elton to us before about managing a new artist, right? You were talking about that, Chuck?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He got a new artist that he managed.
So I'm going to bring this up. Her name is Boss Coachella.
Yes.
She is originally from Hawaii.
Okay.
But a partner of mine actually that when I was here in Hawaii, that I used to work with as far as entertainment. So we used to throw a lot of Pro Bowl parties here. concerts, all the whole 9 yards. So we did a lot of big stuff when we were here in Hawaii. Well, it was his artist at first. It was his
Okay.
artist at first, and so they moved out to L.A., which she in turn had opportunities to, you know, record with Dirty OGs, with, you know, MC8, all those guys, Corrupt from Dog Pound, Little Easy, Cocaine, all those guys. So she did tours and went on, you know, and so, well, my partner passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry
So
to hear that.
inherently, uh, you know, I took over her management. So now what we're doing is, since he passed away, we're back at ground zero again, but
Hmm.
everything is looking up right now. We Bruno Mars has a record company out here that a couple of the record executives are looking, you know, at her. Uh, we just recently did a show out here on stage at the marketplace, which is a pretty big venue. So we're just moving forward. We're just moving forward. I would like to thank Eleanor Moore. She's my PR. She's my publicist. I'm telling you, she's the greatest publicist in the world.
There you go. Hell
So
yeah, I love a
so
good shout out.
Yeah, she sound like
she's
she know what you're doing.
she's got so much pull, bro. I'm about to tell you a story. I'm about to tell you a story about Miss Eleanor
Please.
Moore. About out in so Miss Eleanor Moore has been in the entertainment business since she was little. Her
Okay.
father is the great Melvin Moore, jazz great, Motown, instrumentalist. He recorded with a lot of Motown recording artists. So he's great.
Okay.
So she was raised up in the entertainment business. So she became a PR. And so one day we were in LA for the Grammys. And so we were at Malik Yusuf's spot. He was with Good Music with Kanye at the time. And so the thing
okay.
about it is we decided that we're going to leave that spot because Rihanna had uh, a big party over across town.
Okay.
So we left there, went to Rihanna's party. Us, Darius, you know, all of us. We got to that spot, bro, and Miss Eleanor Moore walks up to it. Everybody's hugging her. Everybody's kissing her. We all walk straight in. A bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
Bunch of nobody. So we all walked straight in. So we just thought, we didn't think anything of it. We didn't think nothing of it. So I'd left my phone in the car, and we had concierge service. So I went outside to go grab my phone. But so there's two lines with all the other people, which extends like 5 blocks down the other way.
Okay.
And then there's another line of like well-known entertainers. So as I'm walking to my car, I see Big Sean, Gene Ico. I see the dude who played Biggie Smalls in the Biggie Smalls movie.
Okay.
And I see the cast of New Edition. One of them, Al J. Smith. Al J. Smith is my cousin. Love you, cuz.
Hell yeah.
You talking about the TV show?
Huh?
You talking about the TV show? Wasn't that a TV show they had?
Yeah. It came. It was so. It was a basically a biopic of New Edition.
Yeah.
So all the cast, you know, Woody the Great, all those guys, they're all standing in line, right? So I go to my car, I get my phone, I come back. My cousin's like, "L, what's happening?" And I was like, "Cuz, what you doing in L.A.? The country. What you doing in L.A.?" He's like, "Man, we just out here for Grammy weekend trying to do," because they performed along with New Edition on stage, which was cool, very cool.
Yes.
So they're standing in line, and he's like, "Man, you going in?" I was like, "Yeah, bro." And he's like, "Man, we've been standing out here for like 45 minutes." He said, and he's like, "How long you been here?" I was like, "Bro, we just walked up."
Oh, wow.
He said, "You in already?" And I was like, "Yeah, my publicist knows everybody." So he was like, "Man, get me in. So I went in there and I talked to my publicist. I was like, "Mel, my cousin is standing outside. You know, can you go?" So she walks out and she grabs them out of line, and we all just walk in. Bam.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, bro. So that's how much pull she has around the area. That's how
That's
much
awesome.
influence she has around, LA itself. And LA is a very expensive place. I haven't paid to get
course.
into any events for the last 7, 8 years. Grammys, Oscars, Emmys,
Hell yeah. That's awesome.
and all the
She
associated
got
events, the
power.
BET Awards.
Mhm.
I've never. She just puts me on the RSVP list, and I just walk in and pretend like I'm somebody. Go to all the gifting suites. You know how rich people get free
You don't
stuff all the time.
pretend
Like,
you are somebody. If you're on the list to get
You
into
are
that shit for free,
somebody.
you are somebody.
well, see,
You
that's what
got
they think.
IMDb.
That's what they think.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you what, bro. I was at Tyrese's house for the Fast Furious 9 wrap up. Tyrese,
Get
like,
out of here. Really?
not looking you,
That's
bro.
fucking cool.
The
That's fucking
Joker's
cool.
got a whole hibachi grill and a Starbucks in his backyard, bro. Like,
Oh my
fully
God.
staffed.
That's fucking awesome.
That's why I checked my lottery ticket today so I can have that same thing.
He's got a life-size bumblebee in his backyard.
A life-size what like Bumblebee the Transformer or like a Bumblebee?
the Transformer. Yes, a life-size Bumblebee the Transformer in his backyard, and a small
Wow.
amphitheater. So
I wonder if he's got some money.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
that's
wonder.
the type of lifestyle I was, that and then you go, other places like Honolulu, where you tell them to RSVP you and they still want to charge you $35 to get in.
Oh yeah. Well, everything,
we don't-
that could be due to everything. I just, I've actually never been to Hawaii. But I believe Chuck, have you been to Hawaii?
Yeah, I went.
Yeah.
I've been
So I've never
Hawaii one time. That's where I went to go in toes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I've never been there, but from what I hear is that generally everything there is expensive as shit. So it doesn't surprise me that you're getting charged still for something like an RSVP.
Yeah. Well, the bottom line is though, Washington.
Yeah.
Washington State. If you can afford to live there, you can live here in Hawaii.
Okay.
Washington State is expensive.
Oh,
like
yeah.
places like Whidbey Island, Bremerton, mainly where a lot of military bases are. The city usually jacks prices up for military people because they feel like they can afford it. So as I was paying when I first got back here, I was paying like, $2,000 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, which everybody'd be like, bro, that's astronomical. That's crazy.
Oh yeah.
But at the same time, in Washington State, for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, I was paying $2,400 a month.
Oh yeah. No, there's some places that are just crazy. I know. I think the most expensive place in the United States is still San Francisco for living, at least.
It is.
What I hear.
It is.
Yeah. Because
and that whole Bay Area is crazy.
Oh yeah. If
More
you get
than LA?
BAH,
I thought LA was.
Oh yeah. If you get BAH, my buddy was getting BAH from San Francisco because his wife lived there, and that's like damn near a little over $4,000 a month. That BAH.
Yeah. Yep, it is.
Which
So
is
it's
crazy.
That's crazy.
San Francisco has the largest homeless population right now.
What the fuck? Who the fuck is wait?
So how?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I've been waiting on you, man.
Wait a second. It's not September yet. What the fuck? Okay, hold on. I'm so sorry, Elton. Hold on. I gotta
brother. I
go ahead. I gotta go ahead and introduce someone, I guess. A big surprise we have here on this episode. May I introduce, I believe, the boss, the pimp, the CEO, the senior chief, slightly special himself, Jimmy the Shooter. Is that you?
Elton, what's up, man?
What's up, homie?
Bro, I've been listening into this podcast this whole time.
Oh my goodness. What are you doing back already? Are you back? What's going on?
Man, it's just crazy over here, man. I need a cousin like Elton, though.
Okay. That didn't really answer anything I just said, but all right.
Bro, you don't need a cousin. You got a brother already. Doing that whole Navy Chief, Navy Pride thing.
Oh, there we go.
You got a brother over here, bro.
I love it, man. Yeah, man. San Francisco's crazy, man. San Francisco like super homeless because everybody doing drugs, but the BAH is crazy.
Jimmy, what the fuck? What are you doing here? You're not even answering the question. I'm not letting you off the hook with this one. What are you doing here? I'm happy you're here, but what are you doing here?
I mean, I'm part of the podcast.
Yeah, but you said you're going to be gone for a bunch of weeks on an underway, and it's only been 2 weeks.
They got Wi-Fi.
Got the Wi-Fi. I wish we had Wi-Fi, man. That's a whole new world.
Wi-Fi.
The Wi-Fi.
Yeah. So how are you home early?
I can't disclose this information, bro. That's why I'm so under aggressively bypassing it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to talk about drugs in San Francisco and celebrities, Emmys, and
we'll
VIP
get back to that
lines.
in a second then. But I want to ask you this then. Did you hear our song for you?
What?
Did you hear our song for you?
No, was that at the beginning?
That was the first episode you left. Go back after this episode and listen to Come Sail Away. That was about 2 episodes ago. Me, Chuck, and Stephanie, we sang a song for you because we thought you'd be gone for a long time. So,
oh man, that's love.
Yeah, so go listen to that. But anyway, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for showing up. It's an honor having Jimmy back. All right, I guess Jimmy's back. So that's hell yeah. But going back to Elton, of course, I wanted to ask you about the management of different people. I wanted to ask, of course, you're not going to talk shit about anyone you manage. I don't want that at all. But I want to ask, like, is it as stressful as it seems in the media? Like, you'll see people managing in movies or TV, and I just like they always seem super fucking stressed out, even if they're best friends with who they're working with. It just seems like almost like a stressful job. It's a rewarding job, but also a stressful one. So I wonder, is that how you feel sometimes?
I can tell you what the stress does not come from the business portion of it.
Okay, what does it come from?
Stress comes from the individual that you represent.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever seen a real crazy episode of Bridezilla? That's how some of these clients are, bro. You be wanting to knock them out.
Oh my god.
They get real crazy because some of them, just an example, there was a guy who had a small name. I guess he was on a cipher with BET. So you know how they had the BET cipher, they do it all, right before the BET award show. They always have that cipher where they have different rappers come in and do the cipher, right? So he was on there along with 3 other well-known rappers, right? So I picked him up. So we had to rebrand and do a lot of stuff. Now people don't really know his name because we had to rebrand the company he was with. Didn't want to let go of his name, so they owned his name. They owned his, But so we rebranded, started coming back out. So we got to the point where I hooked him up with some producers. We shot a video, a music video, and all of these things. He's coming back up. We have him down in LA, doing shows, making appearances, stuff like that. His first single comes out.
Okay.
Right. And he looks at me and tells me, bro, I need to start getting $10,000 a show, and I need to start doing this and doing that.
Oh my god!
I was like, hold up, homie.
Hell no.
Where's my $10,000?
Get $10 a show. So he was real hype. Don't you? Yeah, he was real hype on himself, bro. There's people who've been in this business for years. I can bring the whole group of the Delphonics out here for $7,000 to do a show. And they've been putting it down since the 60s. So you're not gonna tell me that you got one single out and all of a sudden you're worth $10,000 a show, bro. You need to stop that right now. You need to.
Was it?
So it's what.
Was it like a haggle thing almost, where it's like, all right, I want $10,000. You're like, all right, best I could do is $10. Then they're like, all right, 5,000. You're like, again, $10.
No, it was more like you remember $dollar bill.
Yes,
$dollar bill off of when he looked at Jamie Foxx, who like, fool, who you think you is? DJ Quick. Let me tell you something. If you don't get out my face, it's gonna be trouble.
When you say you rebranded, what all goes into rebranding an artist? Like, do you guys really control the image, or like what they can and can't put out on social media?
Yes,
Stuff like
that. Yes. And it's because you want to disassociate yourself from the former you. So in essence, I don't care if so Prince did it, right? Prince went from Prince to the artist formerly known. So he rebranded because the record company owned his name and owned his music. So what he had to do was cut off that, give the record company the Prince name, and came back out as the artist formerly known. So what does that look like? So that looks like basically I'm starting over from the beginning. Now I got to try to figure out how to bring over my audience without offending the record company.
Okay.
So you use that with images, right? Use that with images. You do marketing. You sit out. You do press release, letting everybody know that you're no longer that individual.
Okay.
And so that just comes a lot with it. That way people can. And so while we're in the process of doing that, and again, the only major thing he's ever done was that cipher. So that's literally the first time nationally people had a chance to look at him. And then when we took over, it was like 2 years later because, trying to get him out of his contract, all of this other, him personally, not his name, him personally, and so 2 years later. So, people has short attention spans. Think about all the rappers that have came out right before COVID that she don't even know anymore. You mean the dude that sings Whip Nene? I didn't even know that Joker was in prison. What?
Oh, what? Wait, what?
Yes.
Hold on now.
Does he still get money while he's in prison though? Because that's all.
You always get your residual checks, bro. But I'm gonna tell you what, the thing about residual checks, trust me, I know. With TV shows and acting, every episode, your money gets smaller and smaller and smaller. If you didn't have the major role in it or anything, it just gets smaller and smaller. And the less people buy, when's the last time you've been somewhere and heard that song? Wow.
Yesterday.
Oh yeah.
So man's commissary is
yesterday.
running out.
Yeah, yesterday.
Oh, he said yesterday. Those people are stuck in the past.
They
Watch
playing
me
at
whip.
Walgreens, man.
Now
you
watch
at
me
Walgreens.
Walgreens.
Wasn't there like an actress?
Don't do my man like that, bro. Don't do my man like that. Yeah, man, I heard a song at Walgreens, homie.
Hey, there was an actress, man. She was from Disney. She was talking about
shit,
that.
The way Kenny G used to be on Walgreens all the time. Now it's whipping their name.
I'm sorry. Jimmy, you were saying something?
I said there was an actress, man. She was on Disney. She was talking about that. How if you don't have like the lead role, is that her name? You don't have like the lead role in the actual show, or you're not the one that's like the star of the show. Like the cast, man, they got to pay for their own way a lot of the time. Like they got to buy on set, so they got to house themselves just to get a little bitty cut of the check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but do you know? And this brings me to my next subject, and I got to be sensitive and touchy when I say this because I'm a part of the union, SAG-AFTRA.
Oh yeah, we were gonna. I'm so sorry. I hate to cut you off. We were definitely going to discuss that, and I know that's a big subject going on right now. So I figured there would probably be a lot of time we wanted to cover with that. So would you mind please actually waiting, because we wanted to do a segment real quick before we get into that subject, because I know that there's going to be a lot to discuss, of course.
I got a game plan now. All right. So if anybody at any time gets in trouble on the podcast, let's say the podcast itself gets in trouble, all we got to do is, Murms, you can just call yourself Christian Murmur, the formerly known host of the Great Morning Podcast,
bang, bang.
now hosting the formerly known show Great Morning, the podcast.
By the way, I am quitting. I'll see you guys later. Okay, yes, we will play that game. That is an awesome game. But I wanted to ask, before we, of course, get into the union and the strike, of course, Jimmy, do you think it's time?
think it's time, dog.
All right, Chuck, do you think it's time?
Yeah, dog. I think it's motherfucking time.
I also believe it is motherfucking time, but I want to ask one quick question to Jimmy, of course, before we go into what it is time for. Jimmy, do you happen to have? I don't know where you are. Do you have that?
We ready.
You know what I'm talking about. You have it. All right, fantastic. Well then, Elton, I believe it is time that we do one of our possibly favorite segments we like to do here at Great Morning, and that is, of course, the word of the day. Word of the day. Oh, so how the word of the day works, Elton, I will explain it to you. Jimmy just turned on his screen, so he will show you here in a second. What we use for the word of the day is this very, very, very old dictionary that if you can see Jimmy's screen right now, I don't know. I know you're on your phone, so it might be different. Jimmy, could you talk so he can see your screen?
Yeah.
Oh
Mike
man,
check,
what's
1,
that?
2, 1,
The
2.
Bible?
Oh,
That's
man.
it, yeah.
Garage?
So it is a very old dictionary. That's Webster's dictionary that's been in Jimmy's family for thousands and thousands of years. It's been passed down all the way to Jimmy now. And we like to call it the big old dick. So what Jimmy likes to do is he opens that big old dick up and he puts his finger randomly down on it and he lifts his finger up. And whatever his finger landed on will be our word of the day. Then our guest, which of course is you today, will have to use that word in a sentence. And of course, before you use that word in a sentence, Jimmy will give you the definition. If it's an archaic word, I will give a modern day definition. And of course, Jimmy will spell it for you. And at the end of the season, what we do here at Great Morning is we rate all of our guests' sentences, word of the day sentences, and make a top 10 list of them. And if you make the first place, you get a special prize. What we grade the sentence on, of course, is how funny the sentence was, how creative the sentence was, and of course, if you use the word correctly. So now that I explained all of that, Elton, do you understand the rules of the word of the day?
I do understand the word of the day.
Of course. Hell yeah. Well, then, Jimmy, please take it away.
All right, E. So what I'm going to do, can you see the screen? Just so you know, I'm not cheating. All right. So I'm going to flip randomly. I ain't going to look because I've been flipping all my life. You know what I'm talking about?
Just flip it.
I've just been flipping out here. So I'm going to flip to a random page and then I'm going to throw my finger down like right here.
Bang, bang.
Wow. Your word is old maid.
Get the fuck out of here.
Is that
man.
Old maid? Is that spelled how I think it's spelled?
It's old maid. O-L-D
Wow, that is
space M-A-I-D.
that is like. So I got to come up with a sentence using old maid.
But the definition is a fussy, nervous, timid person.
Okay, that's interesting.
A simple game of cards played by matching them. No, or the lap. The tobacco box skate, or a bot, the red periwinkle.
So which
man, they
Jimmy,
got like 5 over here though.
Yeah, but Jimmy, we've been down this route before. If there's many definitions for one word, you choose which one you want it to be.
I'm gonna go with a fussy, nervous time person.
Yeah. So what's interesting? So I looked up the modern day definition of this term. So the card game one also came up. That's interesting that it's still in there. But the first one that came up, it comes up as a warning now on Google as a derogatory word. It's apparently an old derogatory statement. And what it sounds like it means is what it's saying here is a single woman regarded as too old for marriage. An old maid.
That ain't derogatory. That's a real thing. So powdery ass.
Hey, Chuck, if that's a real thing, go in there and call your girl an old maid. See how real it is.
That's derogatory.
I am.
You old maid. Go ahead and fix my food.
Old maid.
Podcast over with.
Yeah. So
what happened to Chuck? He's about to do it too. You about to do it? Hold up. I want to see Chuck do this right live. Chuck, are you about to do that right now?
No, he already walked outside. He's like, I can't even be inside thinking about doing that. I gotta go outside.
Old maid to her face, bro.
He's already in the doghouse just thinking about it.
I ain't no bitch, bro. I think you a bitch, bro. I don't think you do it. Okay,
Chuck,
what was the question?
So now you have to use.
I want to see Chuck do that live, bro.
You have to use old maid in a sentence.
Okay. Oh gosh, old maid.
Mm-hmm.
Old maid. Mm-hmm. Bro, That's a hard one. It's hard to be clever with that one because it's 2 words. It's not 1 word.
I know
You just told me what to do.
That's That's the problem with the word of the day is we put all our guests on the spot. You got to do it. It's okay. All of them get put on the spot. What you're feeling is what many guests before you have felt before.
We're in your corner. We're in your corner over here.
All right.
We got you.
I guess I don't even know, man. Like,
go with your gut.
Go with my gut.
Sometimes when you think about it too much, it doesn't always turn out great.
You just don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
My sense of the day is, I bet you if Chuck go in there and call his wife old maid, she gonna knock him the fuck out.
There you go. See, there you go. All right, fantastic. Fantastic. Well, thank you, of course, for joining us in the word of the day. You know, all our guests have to either happily do it or suffer through it, whichever they want to say.
I'm doing no Instagram live.
I will be viewing that. But thank you so much, Elton, for doing that. But anyway, I'm sorry that we cut in to do that. We always like to do that here at Great Morning, and especially with new guests, guests for the first time this season. So yes, we will let you know closer to November where and if anyone, you or anyone else, has made it onto the top 10 list. But anyway, now that is done, Elton, please, I know you wanted to explain. So before you get into it, actually, I know it's big news right now, the whole strike, but just in case the listeners, any of our listeners out there, like, what the heck are they talking about? Would you mind explaining the strike first and then telling us your role in it as well?
So here's the bottom line of the strike is most actors, and unless you have a main role and you've been a leading actor for a while, you don't make a lot of money. People automatically assume that actors are rich. I know somebody who's a childhood star that has been in the industry for a while. Mm-hmm. And basically doesn't even have pots and pans in his kitchen. So that's kind of where everybody's at, right? In the whole industry. So, but these production companies that take on the production and make all the money, they make billions of dollars a year, billions upon billions. Think about we're gonna just use The Little Mermaid. Or the Barbie show, or Black Panther. Remember, Black Panther made like a $1 billion in a weekend. And when you think about your top people in that show, like the lead role person, he may have pocketed now out of $1 billion, he may have pocketed maybe about 30-40 grand of that. I mean, $34 million of that.
That's a lot of money.
Everybody else,
where is the money? Where the money at?
Yeah. Everybody else is up under that, right?
Yes.
So, and then you don't have health insurance, you don't have dental insurance. Now you start to think about the people who are working at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffle.
Okay.
As a waiter or waitress, right? That have gone to LA in pursuit of this dream. Now, they have a bunch of small roles, but they're still living in poverty, right? They're still living in poverty because actors are making it's kind of like, I always say this. So this is exactly what it's like. And I'm just to make this analogy. You know how like certain places, California decided they were going to start paying student athletes to play sports, right?
Yeah.
So they just decided to do that. The reason why? Because I played sports. Bro, they don't want you to have a job. You can't have a job because they want you to concentrate on sports.
Oh yeah,
right.
Of course.
If you're poor and broke, the problem is you can go to that same mall, and if you're a good athlete, you can see your jersey for sale. You can look up in the stands, and people are buying your jersey because they feel like they want to be associated with you. They buy your jersey, and you know how much money that money you get? Zero. So you've made your school rich off of your number, your likeness, your everything, but you cannot utilize that money. But you risk getting hurt, a season ender. Like what happened to me. I got hurt, and they gave me 2 weeks to find other financial support. So now, when you translate that to actors, you see what I'm saying? All those lower actors, basically, the production companies are pimping actors to get money and not paying them their just due. And that's why we're striking, and that's why it's in our best interest to make it tough for them, so we can be able to just make a livable wage and get basic benefits, like healthcare, dental, vision, stuff like that, which we don't have. Everybody cannot assume that I'm making Leonardo DiCaprio money.
Yeah.
And that's what the strike is for. And that's why we support the strike, with everything that we have.
Well, how do you feel about the social media people? Because you have people that spend a lot of time, effort, blood, sweat, tears trying to perfect the craft, and they sign a big deal. Now they're working for a production company, they on the movie, their faces on the big screen. People think they made it, but then you get somebody who's on TikTok, and then they make a 15-second clip. It goes viral. Everybody's in demand. And then they start getting sponsors, and then they start getting paid a lot, like millions.
Well, so TikTok, social media is like the new platform. If you notice down through the years, right? You have to be able to move with the times. Technology doesn't stand still for anybody. So like even when we talk about how did we get to where Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus and all of those became a thing, right? How did we get there? It's because now society says convenience is what we look for in every facet of life. Convenience. So while we're holding our phones, just like we're doing now, I can look at a movie on the go. I can look at other people entertain me on the go. That's where we're at in society right now. AMC theaters, there's only a couple left in the United States because brick and mortar buildings are becoming obsolete just because everybody conveniently is on their phone. So TikTok stars, yes, can make a whole lot of money in a small amount of time. But at the same token, there's an algorithm, and they have to pull in a team to help them reach that level. You're just not gonna. You can start at a certain level, but at a certain time, you need broad coverage. You need the bots to start working for you. So how do you get to that point? So everybody cannot be a TikTok star, just like everybody can't be an actor or actress.
No.
Either you identify with the public or you don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. So I don't know if that even answered your question.
No, it definitely does. And I know, I had been thinking about, and I know I'm not the only person, but many people were able to see, especially it started a little before COVID, of course, but like, especially during the COVID season, the era of COVID, we could say, when it became, everything started going streaming wise because everyone was stuck at home. No one's going to the theater. Theaters are closed down unless they did that weird thing where like, oh, you can rent a theater yourself and be like you and your mom are the only one in there, whoever the fuck you wanted to bring, right? Watch a movie. But everything streaming wise, they realized was easier to make, produce, just get done. They can stay within their boundaries. You don't have to travel to get certain shots done. You could do it all within the same building, have certain people come in that day. So you only have to deal with like 5 people that day, 5 people this day. So for the companies, of course, it was way easier on them to be like, you know what? We're still going to do a bunch of movies, but we're just going to release them on Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max, or whatever the fuck it was. No one's going to the theater to see you up there on the big screen. No one's going to pay to get the popcorn, the soda. No, they're all home. So we're going to do this. It's way fucking easier for us. But it's not, of course, on the employees, the actors, the writers. It's not as easy for them. They're not getting paid as much because it's cheaper already. And if it's cheaper for them, they're not going to pay as much. So I saw that during COVID. And again, I know I'm not the only person. I know a lot of people saw it. And the big thing that came up was like, if they're still making a shit ton of money doing it this way, which is much easier for them, why would they stop? What's the reason for them to stop? And the reason now, of course, is this strike. Is like, all right, well, we're just not going to work then. So you either got to pay us what we're due, or you're not making anything. You're not making that Loki TV show anymore. Like, you know, like Deadpool.
That's true.
What were you going to say, Chuck?
I was going to say, is it all just to boost up the percentage, go from 10% to 20%?
They're definitely making more money because they don't have to spend as much money on. You got to think about how a movie. Look at let me think of a movie. Look at like Mission Impossible. Like obviously they spent their time. They went to location for that movie. You know, it's a little after the COVID era, so they're doing. And Tom Cruise, Tom Cruise is producer, so he likes going to all those areas to shoot. But like, if that was during COVID, if Tom Cruise was all of a sudden like, you know what, fuck it, let's film it during COVID, they could do that shit just in front of a green screen. Instead of like, because you got to think, how much money does it take for a production company, say like Paramount, to pay everyone they need? Talking about from the actors to the supporting actors to the writers to the producers, the executive producers, people with the cameras, people with the microphones, people who serve you coffee. They got to pay for all those people. Like, okay, because we're going to film a 30-minute scene in Italy, so we got to fly every motherfucker to Italy and put them in housing or, in condos or whatever they got there. And then we got to film in Italy. What if somebody gets sick in Italy? And now we got to wait 2 weeks until they're better. And then they can film in Italy. They got to pay for that shit. So what's easier for them? Either let's not go to location and film and just stay here in front of a green screen, or we go there and pay all this money. Of course they're going to choose the green screen. Of course they're going to choose the streaming rights. They make way more money.
Isn't that what Marvel does? They do everything in green.
Oh, yeah, now they do. They used to be better with that, but yeah, now they do. So anyway, going back to the strike, but that's what it's about is like, dude, you're paying us less because it costs less for you to make. That's how it is. Money rolls down.
Technology. And that's that. It goes back to the technology thing. Technology is a big ordeal because now you really don't have to go out and pay $5 million for an explosion on a tree line. Yeah. But like you said, when you have a green screen and all of that other stuff, you can you can superimpose that scene on the big screen. So yeah, they have a lot of money. Even if so when we're shooting Tears of the Sun, they flew a lot of people who actually were involved in a Rwanda genocide.
Yes.
People who had cut off limbs and no legs and faces all half mutilated. And so they paid for hundreds and hundreds of those people to come out, and they had to feed them, put them in hotels, do all this other stuff. Do you know it still was only a drop in the bucket on how much that production company had to pay versus how much they made?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Still only a drop in the bucket. So at the end of the day, we all work for the production company.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, we all work for the production company. So that's why, they hire all the people to film and all the people to direct. They own that asset and they put it out. That's why they're willing to give you, a $50 million budget or $100 million budget for a major motion film, because they know they're going to make 10, 15 times that.
Oh, yeah.
And
absolutely.
your budget has all of these things affixed in it already. How much it's going to cost to get people, paying per diem, transportation, your budget, you have to make it work. While basically, they've made that back and more.
Oh,
so that's where the big divide is in. That's where, we want to be able to live and do this without really, having to, this is a job for us. It's a job for us. So we want to be able to do that and not have to worry about getting another part-time job just so I can pay for health insurance, dental insurance, stuff like that. Because
some of that stuff is easily paid for. That could be easily paid for from the production company. Let's pick a movie. Look at the new Avatar 2, The Way of Water, that came out like last year, right? That movie cost I think close to like $250-300 million to make, which is a shit ton of money, of course. Like, that's more money than, of course I have, 300 million. But it cost the production company about, let's say, 300 million to make that fucking movie. That movie made back $2 billion at the fucking box office. $2 billion. All right. That money can go a little more to someone who's writing the movie. Like, it's like, you're making a shit ton of money with some of this. I understand if it's some fucking indie film where the director himself is probably making $10 every year or something. Everyone's working on a low budget thing and you're trying to produce your art, which, it tends to actually make better movies because everyone, takes their time and pours their heart into it. It's not always about the money. It's about getting out there. But like, you look at that and you understand why, like, okay, listen, I can't afford for you to have dental care because I don't even have fucking dental care. Like, that's understandable. But like Paramount, MGM, like, fucking Disney owns Star Wars, Marvel. Like, really? Like, come on, can you fix my teeth? Like, come on.
And the Disney brand. Think about the Disney brand has been in for over 100 years, bro.
Oh yeah.
Like Mickey Mouse, all the Cinderella franchise, the Snow White franchise, all these franchises that have come out of Disney, period.
Yeah.
And so they've made a lot of money. And so we're just saying, because there's not a lot of, when you look at how many actors there are in America alone, there's really not a lot of actors, bro. Like, we're a small portion of the workforce, and it shouldn't be that hard. It should not be that hard.
It's extremely difficult.
Yeah, maybe 1 million actors that are part of SAG and AFTRA, and I'm even talking about the guys who have made their careers being background and stand-ins and stuff like that. Those are the guys who suffer, but they are very important parts of the movie. Without extras, you're not going to have a production. You're just not. And those people bring your vision to life. I can act all I want to, but if I don't have the backgrounds, people in place making the scene come to life, guess what, bro? So we're even fighting for them. They are very, 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 very important to any production.
Oh yeah, you gotta think just even like a cinematographer. People forget how much fucking work a cinematographer does. They gotta find all those. They gotta find the right background. If you're shooting outside, the director can all of a sudden come out and be like, "Nah, see, we need clouds for this scene." And it's like, okay, but there's no clouds in the sky. All right, we're not fucking shooting today. God damn it! All right, we'll try again tomorrow. Hopefully, there's some fucking clouds. Yeah, people they have to work for this shit. Yeah, bro, if you ever saw The Aviator with Leonardo DiCaprio, they talk about Howard Hughes, who was a filmmaker back in the 30s and 40s.
Howard Hughes,
he put fucking budget on hold for Hell's Angels, the movie about the World War I airplanes. He put the filming on hold for almost 4 months to find the perfect day to film the planes in the sky, because he wanted clouds, because they kept filming without clouds in the background. And it did end up looking better, because he's like, you can't tell how fast these airplanes are going if there's nothing in the background. There's just a blue sky. So really, it almost felt like the airplanes were in place. So he's like, put everyone on hold for 4 months until they had clouds to film the background with.
I tell you what, that's a real thing. That is a real thing. We took a shot that should have taken us 3 hours to shoot in total.
Oh, yeah.
And we extended it literally for 3 days.
Yes.
And it was just because here in Hawaii, all of a sudden it's sunshine and all of a sudden it's cloudy. Sunshine, cloudy, sunshine. Yep. So literally we had to we're waiting. Okay, cut. Waiting for the cloud to go by. Okay, hurry before the next cloud. Let's hurry. Everybody in place. Everybody. Listen,
all right, we see another one in the distance. It's coming.
For 3 days, bro. It was horrible.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's why especially in the 50s, like when Hollywoodland was big, like when they were moving to Hollywood, they went to LA because it was almost like 90% of the time at least sunny outside when they can film. So you look at those old black and white movies and they're like, we need rain though for this scene. And you can totally tell watching those old movies now, because they just wouldn't rain in LA because it was sunny 90% of the time. there's like guys up on the roofs with hoses, like putting fucking water down.
Yeah.
You can tell it's not real rain. You're like, oh shit. Like they had to fucking do it like that.
Yeah, and then they got these big giant blockers. They got these big giant blockers where people are holding them for like from there to there, but they're holding them on ladders above everybody.
Yep. Oh my
try
God.
to keep them.
Yeah, like, oh man, fuck. It's fucking hilarious.
I've had to use that before.
And people get paid for that. There's someone, that guy got paid, whoever that was. Like, watch, they were singing in the rain. There, I don't know the guy's name, but some guy had to get paid to be like, all right, dude, you're gonna go on the top of this building with a hose and they can make it rain on these motherfuckers. Like, all right,
oh yeah,
sure, you get paid.
It does. It's crazy.
So yeah, it's a crazy strike that's happening, and I'm very interested to see more that's happening because I know big fucking name people are striking as well. I just saw Bryan Cranston out there. Fucking Ryan Reynolds shut down production for Deadpool 3 just so they could strike. Like it's all like a lot of people are coming forward with this. So I'm very interested to see what the outcome is, because obviously it's going to have to end with them redoing some contracts here. Like there's got to be, because they got to make money. The production companies aren't making money, so like they got to make some money. So they're going to be like, "Fuck."
Man, here's the sad part about it. They can kind of wait us out right now because they've got material. Now, when what we want to do is cause a gap in material. So once you cause a gap in, so the writers themselves, and it's already starting to affect TV, right? Because now you have the night shows and all the TV shows, because I do a lot of TV shows out here. Like they just had to cancel, the production company had to cancel Magnum PI, which I'm kind of bummed about because I had the role. I was the U.S. Marshal on Magnum PI.
Oh hell yeah!
So they just had to cancel it because the writers went on strike, and now the actors went on, so they had to cancel it. Here in Hawaii, we have Hawaii 5-0 and NCIS Hawaii, which, I also, so they're on hold. So how long is it before they have to cancel those shows? You know what I mean? So TV is going to feel it first, then major motion film. But once, TV starts to feel it, it filters over, and that's the gap we're trying to create. That, okay, now we got to come to the negotiating table before the money dries up, because you got to think about it, those guys live very lavish lifestyles. Those executives want for nothing. They do crazy stuff like buy a fleet of airplanes.
Yep.
When I can't even barely afford to ride the metro bus.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's got to be a negotiation. I hope soon, but there's getting big names out there that are striking with you. So I think it looks like hopefully in the future soon it's going to go more positively. But yes, at Great Morning, we will definitely be looking at this more and more as it gets along. Of course, it's a huge news right now. But unfortunately, Elton, I know we got really into it. It doesn't even feel like it, but it has been that time. We're at that unfortunate sad time where we gotta wrap the podcast up now. So what we're gonna do, Elton, what we're gonna do is we're gonna go around the computer screen. I'm gonna ask Chuck to give his last minute plugs. I'll give my last minute plugs, and then of course, Elton, as our honored guest, you will go last, but definitely not least, and give your last minute plugs to the listeners. So Chuck, my friend, do you have any last minute plugs for listeners?
Oh yeah, for sure. Hey, share this link. Oh my God, share this link. This is an awesome episode. Yo, man, so much going on. Everybody that follows, keep following. Share the links and buy some merch, man. Buy our shirts. Our shirts are fitted and nice. So the guns.
Yes, please. And all the proceeds go back to us because we don't make any money. Yeah, we're on strike as well.
Money,
I need to get to the studio. So hey. Yes, thank you so much, Chuck. I want to say also, I know Jimmy just left us a message. He had to dip. I know we're recording a little later than we usually do today, but that's fine. So shout out to Jimmy actually for making a surprise appearance on this episode. We were expecting him not to be back until September, so it was great to hear from him as always. My last minute plugs before we get into our honored guests are, of course, you can follow Great Morning _ the podcast on Instagram. That is our Instagram podcast page, where you will find all your information about new guests, new episodes, new specials, all that coming out. So go follow that. You can follow Topaz Kin. You can follow You Love Steph. You can follow Slightly Special with 2 L's at the end. You can follow Trip God Jimmy. That's TryPGODJIMI on Instagram as well. You can shop for your merchandise at shopgreatmorning.com. Again, that is shopgreatmorning.com. And of course, on whatever podcast app you listen to us on, we're on all of them. So whether it be Apple Podcasts, Spotify, just a general podcast app, YouTube, whatever, give us that 5-star rating, that thumbs up, leave us a comment. We love reading that stuff. So please go ahead and take the time to do that as well. Anyway, that is the end of my last minute plugs. Now moving on to our honored guest, Elton. It's been an honor speaking with you today. This was a great episode. We love hearing from you, and we hope we can have you back on a future episode as well. But please, now is your time to give everything. Where can people follow you? Where can people look up stuff about you? What are you up to? Give it all now, please.
Well, so it's easy. I use my name in a lot of stuff. So my Instagram is Elton .Garner on Instagram. You can follow me there. You can Google my name, Elton C. Garner Jr. So you'll find a lot of information about me there. I just want to give shout outs to you guys and all the vets around the world. Bro, I can tell you, we know what you go through, and we love you. And we're here to support anytime you can. So anytime we can. So my military people, especially my military people, like I said, reach out to me via Instagram. Look me up on Google. Everything is there. I do have opened up my new media company, Bosa Media. We're gonna start doing big things out of there. So I just like to thank everybody. Chuck, great seeing you again, bro. Again, I'm looking forward to you your Instagram post where you're gonna run in there and call your wife an old maid to her face. All right.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
All right. Well, thank you guys, and I appreciate you guys for having me. Thank you.
Of course. It was an honor.
Man,
thank you
thanks
for coming.
through.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. And we hope to have you on again. But anyway, guys, that was our episode. Great morning.
Great morning.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.
Great morning.